Hello, everybody. Let's do some painting today. Let's do some painting. I'm going to be preparing my palette for my next session, my next painting session. I have my color palette that I adjusted. So I cover my palette with a paper that's covered with wax. So this right here is just a paper that I use. And when I'm done with it, I just get another piece. It's covered with some wax, so that helps me be able to spread my colors. And when I'm done with a painting session, I don't have to fret too much about changing anything. I just move forward. Hello, Nicky D. Welcome. Good to see you, bro. Let me fold this piece. I have to put tape on it, obviously, too. Make sure it goes over the edge. I'll cover the other side. And this piece of glass is heavy. And there you go. Fresh new palette. Just need to make this a little tighter so it's not moving on me much when I'm mixing my colors. There you go. The colors for this painting, I have some burnt sienna, French ultramarine, titanium white, I actually have to work on I'm gonna add a kite somewhere up here, maybe around here in this white area, maybe right here. And then whomever's flying that kite is hidden behind this hill. I don't know if I can show you this. So over here, I'm going to have the kite in this area. Something like that. So I'm going to need some cadmium red. There's a teeny tiny little bit left there. I'm going to finish that off. And then I need some alizarin crimson. And Do I need some orange? No orange. I do need some darker browns. Burnt umber. Not burnt. What's that? Raw umber is what I need. Right there. Raw umber. I'll keep the... Actually, I have this raw umber. And I have some burnt umber. I may use that too. I'll keep those, all of those. So I'll focus. These are the only colors I think I'm going to use for now. So those are the only ones I'm gonna pull out. If you want to see how this piece turns out, make sure to follow me. Saludos, baterista, ¿cómo estás? Pues fíjate que no sabía que estaba live en Facebook. Que estoy live en mi página personal. Eso es lo que pasa. That's what's up. There it is. Thank you for hanging with me. Here's the piece that I'm working on right now. I don't have a title for it yet. But I'll be working on it very soon. Typically, I title the pieces when I'm done with them. Rarely do I ever have a title before I'm done with a painting. I know I've written some ideas for this one, but I'm not convinced. So another thing that's bothering me, I have a big scratch right here. There's some scratches over here, so I have to touch all this stuff up. Some cat hair I need to get rid of. Welcome, Mike. Hey to cook. Hopefully you're cooking something good today. Omaira, si me escuchas claro en Facebook, déjame saber. So I have a couple of brushes that I had softening up because I may not have cleaned them properly on my previous session. This is typically my setup. I have my little jar that has the coil in it. And I clean this brush up in these little coils. If you can't see what I'm doing, I have a multiple camera setup for my YouTube channel and for Facebook. So head over to those two to make sure that you see this other angle. I have a camera that's pointing down at my palette, showing my colors. And in this case, I'm cleaning these brushes. These are some of my favorite brushes. They're very handy. But it's a pain in the rear, cleaning brushes. It's like after I'm done painting, I don't always feel like cleaning them, and I have to press on the discipline button to get that going. Yes. I like painting with brushes that look brand new. And I think that can be a problem, obviously. Because I don't want to burn too much time just cleaning brushes. Anybody can clean a brush, right? But I don't have a big staff to be delegating my brush cleaning to anybody. So if you want to see, this is how I'm going to arrange my palette. I'm going to have my titanium white on this side, and I'm going to progress with my reds, then my browns, from warm to cool. Lastly, my blues. This burnt sienna, I don't want that to be too red, So forget the burnt sienna. Say goodbye. That's my arrangement right there. In my palette, can you... Yeah, you can see that. And then here are some of the brushes I'm using today. These are some others. Here's my handy dandy color mixing palette. I need a rounded tip because I don't want to break the paper that I use to mix. Metal Drew, how you doing, my brother? Again, make sure you follow me on YouTube and on Facebook because you can see the multiple camera angles on that. So with this piece, I think I know. I think I know. You know what? Let's do something crazy. Let's just go real quick and get started with the painting. So I got my titanium white. I'm just going to use some of the titanium white for now and some of the ultramarine blue because I want to work on... Here, let me show you this. Because these sometimes dry in the neck of the paint, I need to keep this thing around to force these open. And voila, there you go. So I put my ultramarine over here. I need very little. I don't need much. You can see my ultramarine blue and my titanium white. And then I'll put these colors away until I need them again. I don't want to have a lot of clutter here. So I'm just going to go straight from the tube. Maybe add a little walnut oil here. So we can glide. So here we go. With a painting like this, every single move you make could ruin it. So you can't be holding back and, acting like everything can be damaged. There's a little spot here that is heavy on the oil. I want to add some brush strokes to it. That's doing absolutely nothing, so I'm going to have to come in here with my blue and add a little hint of a cloud formation. Sometimes you don't have to be too obvious with this stuff. You can just add some hints here and there so it's not, in this case, just like such a white background. It's like it has nothing to it. So just adding a little something just makes a difference. If you're watching live, just say hello. I'd love to say hello to you as well. I like the company of having some cats around, but while I'm painting, they're trying to distract me. I don't want that. Nobody got time for that. So you see I have these horizontal strokes here, very wispy, just giving an indication that there's something happening back there somewhere. And it kind of breaks some of this boringness that this white area is giving. I like to have a more interesting sky, but this sky was intended to be somewhat boring because the action is happening. I don't know if you can see. Can you see this thing? If you're watching, tell me if you know what you think that is. That little line that's heading over there. So I'm just adding a little bit of color here. It doesn't have to be perfect because nobody is. Just little hints of stuff here and there. Now I've covered that little spot that had too much oil. I didn't like how it looked. Now it's kind of covered. Yeah, it's kind of like a chemtrail. It's a rocket going up. Now it's very vague, so the viewer gets to determine what kind of rocket it is. So, yeah, it's a vaccine vial with a rocket plume behind it. It's all metaphorical, but it is a rocket going up. So you can see this barren desert uh, can be almost like what you call it, like the results of whatever this is. So it's a conflict, war, barren desert, or you could see it as the hope for looking for a new world if it's a rocket that's going out to another celestial body or something like that. Jason, good seeing you, brother. And I'm not in the refining stage, so I need to focus on adding that kite. So I need some photo references, and I used to have some here, but let me check real quick in my beauty. ¿Cómo se dice chiringa? My mom used to make her own kites, and we actually competed with them. We would go and participate in some of the kite competitions. I think my church organized some, and we participated in others. And I know I won a prize one of those days, but I don't think it was for the kite. It was a bike race to the kite competition. It was a hybrid. There it is. I find exactly what I'm looking for. So the Puerto Rican kites that I remember had a hexagonal shape. And I think that's what I want to do here. Welcome, Bernie. What's up? So this piece right here, the kite is going to be here. Now, this can't be as big as a building. So this is like really up in the foreground. And I think what I need to do is create a separation here so that this is further in the foreground and then blur some of this out so that it's further like in a mid plane. that's going to allow me to have my kite here with no problem. And I'm thinking, let's just get started. Am I going to be impulsive about this and just lay it down? Yeah, I really want it to be here. It's going to almost look like it's within the eyesight of the butterfly. And if we figure out how far this is from, that'll be a little too much. That's also going to help me bring the eye this way. So we have those horizontal lines coming this way. The butterfly is looking in that direction, also bringing the eye in, distracting from this little part here that I'm not happy with. So having the kite somewhere up here and a little higher is the move. So it's going to be up there. I've already put a mark down. There's no turning back. So this, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, it's an octagon. Let me look at the shape of the kite I want to make. Son tres, son seis. No, it's a hexagon. Hexagon. Sorry, ¿cómo estás? Y Yadi, bienvenidas. Gracias por la visita. Aquí el problema de usar, si me están viendo en vivo y son bilingües, déjame saber escribiendo sí en los comentarios. And if you didn't understand, write English only. Here is one of the risks. This charcoal is just so potent. So making a little mark on my canvas can be a little scary, especially when I'm this far in. Now, if I have, let's do something real quick. I don't want to put the hexagon facing me straight on. I want to put it at an angle. So I want to make sure that I visualize it properly. So I have just a little piece of paper just to help me visualize what I'm looking for. So here I just cut a little square. This is just practical magic, basically. How I'm able to bilinguish. Jason no sabe nada. So I got my little square. And if I cut something like that, I'm just improvising. I'll reshape it. So this is kind of like the hexagon that I'm thinking of. And let's do that so we can do that. Now, if I had an assistant, they will be picking up all these little clippings, but I don't. So I'm making myself some more work. This is just as a visual reference, because the kite that I remember making with my mother was kind of like that shape. You see, and I'm going to paint it, but I don't want to paint it just straight head on, like it's a perfect hexagon. Because like when you're flying a kite, it's not going to be facing you most of the time. It's going to be at an angle. It's going to be tilted. So I want to be able to make that illusion realistically. So I want to, as I look at it, I put it here, I close one eye, and I can see the angle of it. So then I can give it the shape that I'm looking at, you see? And I may have to adjust it, do something with it. But this is what I'm looking for. And let me show you. The actual, what you call it? The skeleton of, excuse me, the skeleton of the kite. Am I doing this right? Let me see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an octagon. I want a hexagon. So to do the hexagon, I am going to have to do that. There you go. And that looks more like the ones I remember. So it's like that. And like this. And that really is closer to the shape I'm looking for. Before this is over, I'm going to have nothing here. It's going to be so tiny. So it's something like that. But it would have these cross braces like that. It'll go from this corner to that corner. Actually, let me do the other side. Like that. That's going to help me visualize it when I hold it like this. So look, see? So the actual, the actual kite would have these little cross braces, and then the string would be tied to the middle of the spine, and there would be a trail falling from it to hold it upright. So, Jacob, I'm gonna work on yours next. I'm almost there. And there you go. And I'm actually gonna be broadcasting yours live too, so hopefully you get a kick out of that. You see here, I can see the relationship of those little wedges, those angles when I tilt it. So it's gonna be very elongated. Let's just put some markers here. So if the string is coming down that way, and then this is going to be elongated like that, and it's going to be somewhat twisted, the closer to me, the more angular it's going to be. Now the middle is going to be closer to that spot, and it's going to be longer. Actually, I'm glad I did this like that. Something like that. And then the cross, they don't bend. They're very straight, which would make this like that. There you go. That's our kite. You saw the birth of a kite. And I'll play with the colors to change the shape of it. You'll see. Hey Siri, you said 7-minute timer. Yeah. And then I have this little, because the wind is going that way. Actually, let me look at my reference. I want to see the behavior of the tail. You know, some people add some flares to the sides of them to stabilize them. Yeah. Yeah, some people add some flares to the sides of them. And I'm going to do that. I think I remember my mom doing some stuff like that. We'll see. The other thing, too, was the coloring. We could make different colors in each facet. But anyway, because the wind is going that way, we can have the wind moving that tail back. And it could be multiple tails. And then it had little flares on the sides like that. And there you go. And then I'll have a string that goes down. Here, let's get brave. Something like that. Yep. Actually, I might not even use paint for the string. I may just keep my pencil. No, because then I'm gonna, when I varnish it, I'm gonna screw it up. I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, at least we have the basic shape there for the, we have the basic shape for the stuff. Feliciano Vélez. No sé quién está detrás del teclado, pero los quiero. Bendición. Thank you so much, Jacob. I appreciate your patience. I'm excited to work on it. All right, so we have that. Then, because I have to leave, I want to commit to the color. So I'm going to take my cat red. Let's see. This is the alizarin crimson. There's the cat red. Who wants to bet whether there's color in this tube or not? Look at this little thing. Barely anything there left. But I'm sure I can squeeze 10 cents worth of paint out of this sucker. If I can open it. I need to bring out the jaws of life. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Where are you? There it is. I don't need much more than that. And this I'll use to now go ahead and block that. Block the kite into its spot where it belongs. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here with me. Make sure to follow. If you don't follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, head over there when I'm done here so that you can see the multiple angles. You can see my palette. I have a camera pointing at my palette, so whenever I'm mixing my colors, you can get to see exactly how I do my mixing. You can see the materials that I use. You can see the techniques that I employ. That can be a lot of fun, so make sure to follow me in the other social medias. And also, I'm not broadcasting live on all of the places that I'm at, so I don't want you to miss it when I go live. So if you follow me in all the right places, I won't miss your beautiful faces. Now we're committed. This is where this kite lives from now and until eternity. And you saw the birth of that here. And there you go. Esta biblioteca es mi casa, mi estudio en sunny Kissimmee, Florida. Oh, you know, I forgot that I didn't turn my studio lights on. That's it. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Y el baño. ¿Dónde está el baño? Some very useful Spanish. Ah, you see that nice brush stroke I just gave that? Freaking ruined it. Let's deploy. There we go. Later I'll add a little bit of white. And it's like it never happened. Now the charcoal that I use to lay this down is gonna mix in with my colors, which is sometimes an effect that I enjoy. Sometimes it just fights me. It's something that I'm not happy with. Here, I think I'm gonna be happy with it, especially if I proclaim it and have a positive attitude. I'll make do with it. Más cerveza, por favor. There we go. So now my kite is blocked in. It has a new home in this valley. This is just the base color. Later I'll add some highlights, some shadows, and finally some details, so the viewer can tell at a first glance that, oh, that's a kite. There's not going to be a doubt in their mind that that's a kite. And if you look at how muted the majority of the painting is, you'll notice that this kite will become a attractive focal point in the conversation. And if you think about it, is on the opposite side of this potentially destructive chemtrail or rocket plume. You know what? I'm also going to commit to the tail shape. It needs to be more, have more oil so it can flow better. Here we go. And because it's made of multiple strands, actually I may even add different colors to it. There you go. That's a kite. There's no doubt in my mind that that looks like a kite. And here we have the little side flares. Some people won't understand these side flares, which is okay, because it'll give me an opportunity to talk about the construction of this childhood memory I have. And those who recognize it, those who actually get to identify, oh my God, that looks like the kites I used to make with my family. And there's that beautiful connection to history or to your core memories. You know what I mean? Jellabing. And we have the cross braces. And it's from this corner to this corner. So let's make sure that we get it right. There. And this has to go through the middle of that intersection. Son of a gun. That means I have to extend it. Ah, that works. Okay, good. Good. You know, here I use the same brush and I shouldn't have. I'm going to use this one that has some white in it. I gotta go. So let me get my red. Those of you on TikTok, Make sure to follow me on Facebook and YouTube. I have a camera that can see the palette, so you can see when I'm mixing my colors, when I'm doing all my stuff down here. So you don't want to miss that. Make sure to follow me on the other social media. So here, because I extended this little corner, I have to go back and retrace it. Oh, you know what? And I forgot that these kites had a frame that went outside. So the whole hexagon is built by the frames. And to stop messing with those flares. All right, let's see if I can add those in a sensible fashion. Boom. And boom. Boom. And here, you'll get to see that the kite is not exactly attached to the frame in all the points. Which I just noticed these are the Spider-Man colors. So I wonder if some Spider-Man fans are going to notice. Oh, is that a Spider-Man costume part? You know, I want to show you a little bit. Let me see if I can. Hello.
Are you recording?
I am.
Do you want Chipotle?
Just the. Yeah. Thank you, babe. I'm going to leave before you're back to pick up Aiden.
Okay.
All right, love you too. You too, babe. Let me see if I can zoom into this. Can my camera zoom in if I do that? All right, let me show you. Let me know in the comments if you can see this. There it is. Oh, you know what? I need to make that a shortcut so you can see that real quick. There you go. Now you can see you can see the kite up on my stick blocks it. Let's see. See that? Oh, shoot. You see that? And in this whole scene, the sky is being lit from top left. Yeah.
Aiden has a test after school today, so did he?
He didn't tell me anything.
Yeah, I would put maybe message him, but I think he said something like he'd be done around 2:50.
All right, I'll check with him. Thank you, babe. That's a zoom in on my head. So I just realized this upper part here, it's gonna be like inflated because the air is pushing from that side. So this is gonna bulge out like that beyond the frame of the kite. There you go. And then later when this dries up a bit, I'm gonna start adding some shadows and stuff to make it really look concave. Más bonita. Muchas gracias. Plus jolie. Cet opéra est plus joli. Pour mes amis français qui parlent français. So you're adding a couple wispies, so you can tell what they are. And if it's concave, the light is coming from the upper left. Let me zoom out because this is just too tight in here. Boop. Because the light is coming from the top left. If this were convex, the highlights will be hitting my kite from this side. Yeah, but this has some translucency that's gonna complicate stuff. But because it's concave and the light is coming from the upper left, some of my darkness needs to come from the upper left to give it that impression that it's concave. Hey Siri, send a message to Aiden. At what time do you need me to pick you up? Hey Nicole. M Love 89. Adrian, good to see you guys. Thank you for stopping by. Few Abebe. Mystica AJM. Thank you for the follow, guys. I appreciate it. I invite you to visit my Facebook and YouTube so that you can see the rest of my videos. So look, I'm gonna add some shadows here. And I made the mistake of adding this. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna paint through it. Use it as my pigment to make this look concave. I'm not gonna let it stop me. You see? So we do this. And we make that upper left part of the kite a little darker. And then we can add a little bit of light to the bottom right. Let me blend this better. I need some more darkness down up here. And I'm using blue because the shadows would be cooler. And even though the kite is red, just by adding a little bit of this ultramarine blue, I can make that a little darker. I could use some alizarin crimson, but that's a little too translucent for my taste at this stage. So I'm going to see where I can get just with adding some ultramarine blue. And the shadows are always going to be a little cooler. So adding that blue, I think it gives it a cool. hue. There you go. And there you go. And in my mind, that looks a little bit more concave. To accentuate that style, that effect, I'm gonna need a little bit of white. Here's my white brush. I'm just gonna load this brush up with a little bit of white, titanium white. If you can't see this angle, I encourage you to check me out on YouTube where I'm live and you can see that camera, where you can see the whole palette. So I got my brush loaded with white. You see? And this bottom right gets a little bit more whiteness. This is tough because there's so many colors here. If I touch the border, it's gonna mess it up. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I'm happy with how it is. I can always wait for it to dry up and then I'll touch it up later. So I'm gonna clean my brush a bit. Now I'll go back to adding my supports. Evie, mon cousin, comment ça va? Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Je suis très content avec mon opéra. Et mon français est un peu meilleur. Meilleur? Meilleur? I don't know how to say that one. Meilleur. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I could add a couple of highlights to some of these poles to make them look three-dimensional. And even though the light is not hitting it directly, I can still make it look like it's a popping. There you go. That looks good. That's exciting. I get very excited whenever I take a risk and it pays off, because it's risky. When you working on a piece, you're adding something later in the process. It can be a little bit intimidating. It can always be fixed. That's the whole deal with oil paintings. It's problem solving. So you run across some new problems and then you deal with them. No big deal. And it's so intense. I have to get aggressive with my contrast in some of this other area, because even though that's mid-ground, the contrast is super sharp, and I need to either dull that or sharpen this. And I wasn't happy with how flat some of this is, so I think I'm going to be more aggressive with this, and later on when this dries, I'll tone it down a bit. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here with me. There you go. And I'm going to add some highlights to that framing in that corner. And that should make it look like it's popping. Like I said earlier, like this. There you go. Boom. I'm happy with that. And I'm not going to touch it. Another thing is going to happen. There's going to be some... Is it going to cast a shadow? No, because it's pulling off of it. Maybe towards the edge of it. As you may notice, some of these comments I'm making them to myself. So I'm using my external voice to tell myself what to do. And also the shadows are going to help showcase that this is curved. Let's see if that works. Nope, that did not work. Let's not mess with it. There you go. That works. Ah, that looks good. I'm telling you, see, you have to take those chances because they pay off sometimes. That looks good. Brother Pat, good seeing you, my brother. Thank you for always supporting my work. Hanging with me in my studio while I paint. See, the problem I'm facing here, there's too much color hanging on this brush. I just crossed the streams. I had some white in it. I had some blue, and I need no white in it because I'm adding some shadows with it. So I have to make sure that I purge it from any kind of white. Otherwise, it'll muddy the whole thing. There you go. And now after I put it down, I just blend it off. And it really looks like it's pushing away. Now I'm happy with that. I'm happy. And you see the string comes from here. Oh, dude, that's so cool. I'm happy that that worked out like I imagined it. Yep, I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm excited. I made some progress. That's what I needed. I needed that excitement to see a little bit of progress in this painting so that I can go ahead and finish it. I'm so close, and I have other collectors waiting for their pieces, so I want to make sure that I get this one out of the way. Start working on the next pieces. I have a big show in May, and I have to do quite a bit of painting for that show. So you'll see me here painting live every day. Make sure to follow me in all the social media. Follow me on YouTube. I'm going to be going live on YouTube pretty much every day. Some days, multiple times a day. So I don't want you to miss it. You are here now and you witnessed what just happened here. And I want you to be witness to what happens next. So make sure that you're following me there. On Facebook, I see you on Facebook. Nice. Thanks for the suggestions. But my lawyer tells me that I have to reject your suggestions so that you don't claim part ownership of my painting. There you go. So that's exciting. I'm one step closer to putting signature on this piece. I think the signature is going to be right here on the right side. I got a couple of things to hide in the front. You got to see what I do with those. I'm excited how that's going to end up. It's going to spark some conversations. I welcome them. And I'm thankful for your support. Share my work with other people so that they can see the kind of work that I do. Every piece has a purpose, so there's a story behind every painting. It's not just something to adorn a house. The purpose behind each piece is to get people talking, for there to be a conversation about different subject matter. And this one is an important one. So hopefully you share in that conversation too. So thank you so much for spending some time with me here in the studio, the Sepúlveda Studios in sunny Kissimmee, Florida. Thank you so much for your support and for sharing everything with me. Brother Al, sending you some love from Kissimmee. Thank you again, all of you who just tuned in and say hello from your respective places of abode. I look forward to seeing you again next time here in the Sepúlveda Studios. And until then, may your steps be firm and your path illuminated. Take care.